where people were basically saying, well, aren't vaccines, the idea is like I shouldn't, if I get the vaccine, then I shouldn't get the disease. And that really was never the intent, in my opinion, based on what I've read about them. The idea was, again, to create some level of exposure on a minor scale so that it would initiate the actual immune response. But what they were finding out is just the exposure to said virus, bacteria, wouldn't initiate the response they were wanting to the immune system, i.e. now that's why they added those adjuvants. So those are things like aluminum, the mercury or the thimerosal. Those are the things that once they get into the system actually trigger an immune response, only unfortunately it's not the real response they're needing. So when you inject something into the skin, you've bypassed that normal immune response through barriers. So like a virus or bacteria, a lot of that stuff that's supposed to be in the air or is always in the air, when you breathe that in through like your nostrils or get it in through your eyes or it touches your skin, those barriers then communicate to the immune system, particularly the innate response, and says, hey, this is a virus, this is a bacteria, this is who you need to send to come create the response. And then from there, it creates that acquired response, which is basically what medicine's trying to manipulate, is that acquired response that makes the antibodies. So that's, what we were kind of chatting about this morning. It's like, yeah, unfortunately, people think that if they get a drug or a vaccine, they never have to experience those negative things. But even a healthy immune response, if it's your first encounter, you're going to have some level of ill feeling because you've never encountered that before. So it is normal to maybe feel crappy if that's your first exposure, but that's the key, exposure. Right. If you're not exposed, you can't elicit the response and the memory so that the next time you do encounter it, which there will be a next time, you get through it that much quicker. And so because everybody doesn't want the symptoms, they don't realize they've actually made themselves weaker by all this alcohol sanitization. You're ruining the actual barrier response to all the drugs they take, the Theraflus, all that stuff is just so detrimental to normal response.